राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतेरुत्तमं श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapter number 11, entitled Lord Krishna's Entrance into Dwarka, text number 25. Nityam nirīkṣamāṇānāṁ yad api dvārakā-okasām na vitṛpyanti daksha śriyo dhāmāṅgam acyutam nityaṁ nirīkṣamāṇānāṁ yadyapi dvārakā-okasām na vitṛpyanti dṛśaḥ śriyo dhāmāṅgam acyutam nityaṁ nityam nirīkṣamāṇānāṁ yadyapi dvārakā-okasām na vitṛpyanti yadṛśaḥ śriyo dhāmāṅgam acyutam Ladies, word to word meaning and translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nityam, regularly, always. Nirīkṣamāṇānāṁ, of those who look at him. Yat, although. Api, in spite of. dvārakā-okasām, the inhabitants of Dvāraka. Na, never. Vitṛpyanti, satisfied. He, exactly. dṛśaḥ, sight. śriyaḥ, beauties. dhāmāṅgam, the bodily reservoir. acyutam, infallible. Translation. The inhabitants of Dwarka were regularly accustomed to look upon the reservoir of all beauty, the infallible Lord, yet they were never satiated. Purport. When the ladies of the city of Dwarka got up onto the roofs of their palaces, they never thought that they had previously many times seen the beautiful body of the infallible Lord. This indicates that they had no satiation and desire to see the Lord. Anything material seen for a number of times ultimately becomes unattractive by the law of satiation. The law of satiation acts materially, but there is no scope for it in the spiritual realm. The word infallible is significant here because although the Lord has mercifully descended on the earth, he is still infallible. The living entities are fallible because they have come in contact with the material world, yet they lack their spiritual identity. And thus, the body materially obtained becomes subjected to birth, growth, transformation, situation, deterioration, and annihilation under the laws of nature. The Lord's body is not like that. He descends as he is and is never under the laws of material modes. His body is the source of everything that be, the reservoir of all beauties beyond our experience. No one, therefore, is satiated by seeing the transcendental body of the Lord because there are always manifestations of newer and newer beauties. The transcendental name, form, qualities, entourage, etc. are all spiritual manifestations, and there is no satiation in chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no satiation in discussing the qualities of the Lord, and there is no limitation of the entourage of the Lord. is the source of all and is limitless. Jai Shri Prabhupada. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्रीगौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. So it's my good fortune that amongst the Vaishnavas here I'm instructed to recite this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, and I have been instructed to speak something. So requesting the devotees assembled to kindly bless me and empower me that I can share whatever I have learned from my spiritual predecessors, and so that it is pleasing to all of you and at the same time making me better than what I was before now. So this particular verse is talking about the two concepts, that the Lord is infallible acyutam, and second is the devotees when they are seeing, they are hearing, they are meeting the Lord, they are never satiated. There is no na vitṛpyanti. They are not feeling the okay, this is good enough, this is fine for today, or this is fine for this life. No, they are feeling that let time stop, let there be no end to this. So this Prabhupada quotes this law of satiation, that one becomes bored after performing something repeatedly, and one keeps doing the same thing, one becomes satiated, one becomes bored, because that is applicable to the material circle, material things. But as far as devotees are concerned, they are not satiated. Hmm? Even the yogis, Ramante yogino anante satyananda chitatmani iti rama padinashu param brahma vidiyate. So these mystics, they have also, when they are connecting to Lord Ram, and they are in Ramana, they are completely indulged, involved, because they are deriving unlimited pleasure in the absolute truth. And we see the example of even Kumaras who were impersonalist. When they approached, they were trying to go to Vaikuntha. So the Lord enchants the impersonalist also. How does he enchant? By engaging their senses in his service. So first, the sense that is engaged is which is not in their control. You can control the eyes, you can control what I want to hear, but nose, how can you control that? So the Lord engaged their nose. Tasyaravindanayas padaravindam kinjal kamishya tulasi makarandavayu. So Tulasi, the Vayu that came after breeze, the breeze that came after connecting with the Tulasi, which is connected to the lotus feet of the Lord, that when it entered the nostrils, then they were completely Sankshobhamaksharajusam apichittatanavo. They are completely wondering, what is this? We have never experienced anything like this in our impersonal pursuits. But then that was just the beginning. When they saw the form of the Lord, the exquisite beauty of Lord Narayana, that was, which is actually told, the verse says that being many times magnified by the intelligence of his devotees, that was so attractive, that it was so beautiful that even the goddess of fortune was put into shame. And because of that, even the demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they also keep worshipping this particular form of the Lord. And the sages, when they saw these four Kumaras, when they saw this form of the Lord, then they had completely, they were bowing down, and they were joyously involved to keep on seeing this form. They were again and again bowing down their heads at his lotus feet. And then, the Lord started speaking. So he spoke some 15 to 17 verses in the 16th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto. And after the Lord stopped, they were really, astounded. They were not satiated. They wanted the Lord to speak more. They were, although they were bitten by the serpent of arrogance and anger, yet their souls were not satiated by hearing the Lord's lovely speech. Yeah. So which was like a series of Vedic hymns, Lord Brahma says. So this is what happens to the impersonalists. And then the upcoming devotees, the neophyte devotees, they are the Shaunaka rishis. So the Goswami is preaching them. And they are also telling right in the beginning that vayam tu na vitrpyama uttama shloka vikrame yashrinvatam rasa jnanam swadu swadu pade pade. So they are saying that please carry on speaking about the glories of the Lord. We are never tired of hearing this transcendental pastimes of the Lord. This is something that actually keeps increasing in its own self. And swadu swadu pade pade. So at every step, it's palatable, and we are relishing the pastimes. So eventually they say, Ko nama tripyed rasavit kathayam. They are saying at the end of the first canto again that who is that one who can say that, oh, we are satisfied, we are satiated. So Anyone who is rasavit, anyone who knows how to taste rasa, anyone who is expert in doing that, he can never say that I have completed this, hearing, I have completed my chanting, I have completed my services. No, anyone who is knowing the tattva of rasa, he will never do that. So here we see that Lord Krishna, he is as such, close to 120 years old, and he is, in the 16,108 palaces, and then he is coming out of that, and daily he comes and merges into one, and then goes to the sabha. None of the people as Dwarka Vasis, they're unable to understand this concept. But, I mean, this is the rasa. But then, as the Lord walks on the streets, everyone wants to see him. This is the whole verse today. Nitya nirīkṣamāṇānāṁ. They're daily seeing the Lord, yet they're wanting to see the Lord more and more. So this is not only happening with the devotees of Dwarka, but this is happening with the devotees of even Ayodhya. Ninth canto Srimad Bhagavatam says that actually the Ayodhya Vasis, when they see the Lord Ram, he has come after a long time. So the citizens, both men and women, they go at the top of their palaces to the roofs, both men and women, being very eager to see him and being incompletely satiated. They are seeing the lotus-eyed Lord as he is walking towards the palace, towards towards his office. And when they see him, they are actually showering flowers onto him. This is what happens with the Devasis. And then we have got devotees of Krishna, like one of the pure devotees of the Lord is Vidura, and he also says in the beginning of his learnings under Maitreya Muni, he says, Sukhaya karmani karoti loko natai sukham vanyad paramam va vendet bhuyas tataiva dukkham yadatra yuktam bhagavan vadinnaha. So he says that actually this people of this world, they are trying to find happiness in this world, but no one finds neither satiation nor mitigation of distress. Nahi milta. Neither one is satisfied from practicing the things of this material world, illusory world, nor one is mitigated the distress. So this is the situation of the people at large. And then he says that is the reason, you please, in few verses later, he says to Maitreya Muni, please narrate the pastimes which are auspicious characteristics of the Lord. And that is for the welfare of everyone, for the welfare of the Brahmanas, for the welfare of the demigods. Therefore, the Lord appears for the welfare of all the people. And you please narrate this because our mind is never satiated, even if we keep on constantly hearing the pastimes of the Lord. So Prabhupada writes in the Purport, it's not that Vidura does not know. Vidura knows. He is Mahajana. Yet, in spite of knowing, he has heard this pastimes many times before he met Maitreya. But still he wanted the same narrations to be repeated because he was never satiated by hearing them. This is the transcendental nature of the glorious pastimes of the Lord. And then we see Maharaj Parikshit. So he is saying, in the beginning of the 10th canto, there is some thoughts. It seems that Sukadeva Goswami has taken 5th gear and narrating the pastimes. He is practically running through in the 9th canto, going zoop, 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 because the Manavantras are going ahead and he's telling all the pastimes very fast. Lord Ram finished, Parshuram finished, and then Lord Krishna also zoop finished one chapter. Within few shlokas, Krishna's pastimes over. Then Maharaj Parikshit says that please wait, please reduce the speed, increase the quantity and increase the volume, and understand that in spite of I have fasted for 3.5, 4 days, and I have not taken any food, nor water, nor sleep, but I am still not satiated. My hunger and thirst is there for the pastimes that's coming out of your lotus mouth. Please keep speaking. Nivrittatarshairupaniyamanan bhavaushadi shotramanoviramad uttama shloka kunanuvadat puman varejeta vinah pashugnat. He says that it will only be a person who wants to kill his own self, or a butcher, Prabhupada translates it, who will say that I am done with your spiritual discourses. Band karo. Stop it. Enough of this. It's only a person who is wanting to commit a spiritual suicide, who will say that. Because otherwise there is no end to that. Who will cease hearing such glorification of the Lord except a butcher or one who is wanting to killing his own self? Because otherwise, what is the hope if someone does not hear the transcendental glory, pastimes of the Lord? Then one has to hear something else. So, further we see higher degree of devotion which is being expressed by the gopis, and it is being understood by the ladies of Mathura when they see Krishna in Mathura. So they also say, and they remember the gopis, Gopya tam tapahakim acharam yad amushya rupam. What a beautiful form Lord Krishna has. Lavanya saram asamordhavam ananya siddham. So this is the essence of loveliness. Lavanya saram. This is the beauty of Lord. This is the reason there is no satiation. You keep on seeing him. He is the essence of all loveliness. He is asamordhavam. Prabhupada says asama urdhvam. No one can be equal. Asama. No one can be urdhvam. Bigger, more, better than Krishna. And ananya siddham. He is no ornament can increase his beauty. When ornaments are put on Krishna, then the ornament's beauty increases, not that Krishna's beauty is increasing. Is it not? Nowadays, people have practically stopped wearing ornaments. Only in some once in a blue moon, not even a blue moon. It's like once in a 3, 4, 5, 6 years, people remove the ornaments and start wearing it. All the ornaments are there within the lockers only, fearful of being envious people or fearful of getting stolen. But even when ornaments are being put at the Lord, then the ornaments are not increasing the beauty of the Lord. The beauty of the ornaments are increasing. Bhushana, bhushanāṅgam. So, this is the glorification of the ladies of Mathura seeing Lord Krishna, Krishna's beauty. Then they are saying, why will not one be satiated? This is the reason. Then we go to Lord Chaitanya's, mood of Srimati Radharani when there is Rath Yatra pastimes going on very soon. Rath Yatra is going to come. So Lord Chaitanya is dancing in front of Rath Yatra and he is saying, Vamshi Ganamrita Dhama Lavanyamrita Janmasthana Yana Dekhe Se Chade Vadana Se Nayane Ki Bakaj Padhuk Tare Munde Vaj Nanayane Rahe Ki Kyarana. He is saying, so beautiful Lord is there, Vamshi Gana Vritadham, Lama Nirvata Janmasthan is the birthplace of nectar of beauty. Beauty is there. What is the birthplace? That is the beauty of the Lord. Ye na dekhe se chhada vadana. Someone who does not see this is useless. Then he says that say nayana kiba kaj. What is the use of that nayana? What is the use of that eyes? Paduk tare munde vaj. Let there be thunderbolt on his munda, on his head. Say nayana ki rahe ki karan. What is the use of that eyes that is existing? So the goal of the eyes is to simply see the Lord. The goal of the existence is to simply adore the Lord. And that is why there is no satiation. So this is moon-like face of Krishna is the reservoir of nectarian songs and the abode of his flute. So there is no end to the glorification that can be done towards just the beauty of the Lord. What to speak of the rest of the entourage and the pastimes and the glories. And then ultimately, let us hear what Srimati Radharani has to say. She says, कोटि नेत्र नाही दिला सबे दिला दुई ताहाते निमेश Krishna की देखी मुई. She actually is chastising this foolish Brahma. What is the use? Koti netra nahi dila. You have not given me thousands and thousands of netra. Sabe dila dui. You have given only two. This is your foolishness. And that too, tahate nimesh. In spite of giving only two eyes, you have obstructed it by again and again, having this, palak, chapakna. There is nimesh. The microseconds I am not able to see the Lord. Krishna ki dekhi mui. How can I see Krishna? So this is the insatiation that the devotees are expressing. So actually we see that this insatiation is there in the non-devotees also. They are also not having satiation while they explore this pursuits within this material world, because there is hope against hope. Vidura says, Paravaresham Bhagavan Vartani Shrutani Me Vyasa Mukhad Abhikshanam Atrapnurupam Kshulla Sukhav Havani Tesham Rite Krishna Katham Naragat. So he says that, Vidura says, मैंने बहुत सुना है. I have already heard lots of things from the mouth of Vyasdev. Varieties of literatures I have heard. I have heard about the higher status, lower status of human society. I have enough of all this. Attanako. I don't want any of that now. They have not satisfied me, and now I want to hear the nectar topics of Krishna. So Maitreya Muni replies, Soham nidam shulla sukhaya dukkham mahadgatanam viramaya tasya pravartayi bhagavatam puranam yadi sakshat bhagavan rishibhyah. Okay, now you sit. You have heard all of that now. Now you sit. I will tell to you Bhagavatam. I will tell to you this Bhagavatam, which is actually the satiation, for the people who are unsatiated in this material world. Soham nrinam shulla sukhaya dukkham. They are wandering in this world for little bit of pleasure, but they are getting dukkham. Shulla sukha, but huge dukkha. But now, hear this Bhagavatam, you will never turn back. You will not turn back, because there is no end to this. Because one never feels satiated, one never feels satisfied. So one is involved in this material world for what? For money? For what? Why do you want money? For pleasure. For what? For gratification of senses. What is the highest gratification of senses? That is enjoying this body and enjoying sex pleasure. But we can see in the case of Yayati, he is enjoying sex pleasure for so many years, and at the end of that, he is himself saying to his wife, no, this is not the right thing. Even after enjoying sex pleasure for years and years, then also what happens is there is no satiation. So, what is the point? There also there is no satiation. So, Srila Chakravarti Pad says that Prabhupada explains the symptoms of those who are satiated with lusty desires are explained here. That when one is, how can one be satiated by the material pursuits? When one leaves that, what is the thing? Number one is when one is not envious of his enemy. And number two, one does not expect honor from anyone. Number three, instead he desires all well-being of even of his enemy. Then he is understood that he is left, he is satiated with all the material pursuits. Then one is fully subdued of lusty desires for sense gratification. Then he is understood to be Paramhamsa. It's Prabhupada's statement. Quoting Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, 9th canto, 19th chapter, text number 15. So this is actually the full stop of material pursuits. But actually, people are having hope against hope. They're wondering, okay, idhar se nahi mila, let me try from this side. Not from that side, let me try from the other side. And this is going on and on, birth after birth, until and unless one comes and hears from a Vaishnava. So now, what is the reason that this law of satiation, which is there in this material world related to matter, that gets defied? We understood that law of satiation exists in material circles, right? One cannot do the same thing again and again. He always has to try the newer and different varieties and magnitudes and frequencies of sense gratification, right? But that's not the case in spiritual life. Why? So, the devotees define the law of satiation. How? Number one, by their own enthusiasm and eagerness. So, Maitreya says to Vidura that, oh Vidura, I am ready to tell you all these transcendental pastimes because you are having so much enthusiasm and eagerness to hear. And this is wonderful because your attempt to the transcendental past, to hear the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, are actually growing and becoming newer and newer at every moment. So this is one of the things, that one is actually having enthusiasm and eagerness to hear. And in Srimad Bhagavatam also we will see many times that the devotees, they are requesting, actually it is questions and answers, but the devotees are requesting the speaker, please carry on to speak. This is giving the enthusiasm to the speaker also to speak more, right? So if all of the devotees are coming and sitting to hear, that's giving some encouragement to the speaker also to speak. Otherwise, if the audience is not there, how long one can, enthusiastically speak? Of course, one can speak, but then, at least in my level, I need certain devotees to reciprocate with their enthusiasm. So it is told that Prabhupada writes in the Purport, if any self-realized soul reads from Bhagavad Gita, he will never feel satiated. The narrations of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam may be read thousands and thousands of times and still without fail newer and newer aspects of the subject matter will be relished by the devotee. This is because of the enthusiasm. And then the Lord reciprocates. So Prabhupada gives an example to this. Just like you have fire, you keep putting things within the fire, will the fire ever say, bas ho gaya, band karo? The fire never gets satiated by its consumption of firewood. So like that, a pure devotee of the Lord is never satiated. He never says, I have heard enough of Krishna. So, and another place, Maitreya Muni says, what is another qualification of or devotee, how he is not satiated. He says, Shraddha Dhanaya Bhaktya. That means a devotee who is faithful. So, anyone who is having faith, his satiation will not get hampered. So we were there at Tirupati, and during our PDC, and we were hearing from His Holiness Bhakti Badri Narayana Swami Maharaj. So he was telling us he has read Bhagavad Gita 40 times, and he was telling, whenever I read it, any time I read it, I get newer and newer explanation of the same thing. I always think that this is new, and this is the realization. This is the realization of a devotee. So in this world, we don't have experience of this, because there is nothing in this world which is material, which is remaining ever fresh, ever green. We may say evergreen, but nothing is evergreen. Sada Bahar, Nagme, we have, Kishore Kumar and Lata Mangeshkar and all that. But you hear that same one song on and on, you will get bored. Then you have to go to the next song. So this is the reason people had, so many, those times there were cassettes. So people have a whole set of cassettes. Nowadays it is thrown in dustbins. But why so many? Why not only one? Why not only one? Because this is the law of satiation. So, but that's not applicable to Krishna Katha. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hearing from Gadadhar Pandit and Tota Gopinath, same Prahlad and Dhruva Maharaj pastimes. It's not that, there is any new thing that is going to come the next day. Gadadhar Pandit would come and sit in the Tota, in the garden of Tota Gopinath, and would recite, and he would say, what would you like to hear today? And he would say, same Prahlad Maharaj story. And then, it's not that, next day Gadadhar Pandit is going to tell, okay, Narasimha did not come from a pillar, he came from the roof. And then another day it came from within the soil. It's not like that. It's the same exact pastime. It's not that next year when we hear Narasimha Leela, something, pillar se bahut ho gaya, abhi bore ho gaya pillar se, kahin upar se kood ke aate. It's not like that. It's always he has to come from a pillar, right? But there is no change in the pastime, but there is no satiation in hearing the same thing, same drama, same same mukhata, same costumes, because the Lord is the same, right? But the devotee's eagerness is ever increasing. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was having some problem speaking, and the doctor were called, and the doctor checked his health and suggested him that you speak too much. Please reduce your speech. Don't speak. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was so concerned, he told him that importance of Krishna Katha, the existence, my existence is meant for speaking Krishna Katha. How are you telling me not to speak? It's better to die than not to speak. And then explaining this, he gave a whole 1 hour lecture to the doctor in front of him right there spontaneously. And the doctor, after hearing this, told, Baba, continue speaking, Baba, you continue. There is no hope, there is no scope, you are transcendental. So, Srila Prabhupada, he was also glorified by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Oh, he likes to hear. Prabhupada was wondering that time, Abhay Charan Day, was wondering, where should I go to see some picture, or what is that? Darshan. Let me hear. So this is actually, our way of accessing the Lord. The Dvāraka-vasis, dvārakā-okasām, or Ayodhya-ka-okasām, or Vraja-okasām, all of them are able to see the Lord with their eyes. Now we can also experience the Lord with our ears. So by hearing, so that's how we can Tam tvam bhakti yoga paribhavat hritsaroja aseshu teshita pato nanunata pumsam. So Shuta Ikshito. The way we can see the Lord is by hearing. So that's the way, we understood from our spiritual master, from our Srila Prabhupada. He heard chose to hear from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur than to go and take darshan. And during when he came to India with his disciples, there was a slogan all the places that the government had put, "Bate kam, काम ज़्यादा." So everywhere they had put these slogans, "Bate kam, काम ज़्यादा." So speak less, work more. But then, as Srila Prabhupada saw these hoardings all around, and he was told to kind of give a talk in a program. So lots of people were sitting, and there was some government official also sitting. The that time government official were also sitting. So Prabhupada was telling, people are saying "Bate kam, kaam zyada," but we don't agree to that. We say "Kaam kam, bate zyada." So which bate zyada? Krishna Katha. So the best thing that you can do in your existence is to come and sit and hear and speak Krishna Katha. Shravanam Kirtanam. This is the goal of life. Nothing else is needed. Kuch aur nahi karna hai. So Prabhupada told this, that baate zyada, kaam kam. Reduce your kaam by hearing Krishna Katha. So, and what is the reason, what is the specialty? The specialty is, this is Manaso Mahotsavam. This is Tadeva Ramyam Ruchitam Navam Navam Taveva Sharram Sashvam Manaso Mahotsavam. This is the festival of the mind. There is no other thing which can actually make our mind more happy than hearing about the Lord. And while hearing, taking darshan of the Lord. So we take darshan of the Lord, understanding Sakshat Vrajendra Sutta Ihet nahi cha ana yebe agya kare tare pratima hena jnana. So he is actually Sakshat Vrajendra, and then when we go and take darshan of the Lord with our eyes also, we don't have to see him just as a stone or a metal or a wood. We need to see that he is actually the Lord. With that thoughts, we should approach the Lord. So we approach the Lord by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we approach the Lord by taking darshan of the Archa Vigraha, and we also approach the Lord by chanting the holy names. So Haridas Thakur, he is not satiated chanting 3 lakh names daily. And Prabhupada writes in the Purport, that one of the purports, that those who are non-devotees, they may think, how can people devote so much time simply talking about God? But Prabhupada clarifies, devotees are never satisfied or satiated in hearing and speaking about the Lord and his devotees. The more they hear and talk, the more they become enthusiastic to hear and talk. And the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is simply repetition of just 3 words, Hare Krishna and Rama. But still devotees go on chanting Hare Krishna mantra 24 hours a day without feeling fatigued. Now this means satatam. This means satatam kirtayanto mam yatantrascha dridavratah. So if we want to do this, satatam kirtayanto mam, and this is what is Krishna expecting. This is what is there in Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Ahetuki apratihata. Apratihata means there is no ending. It just carries on and on. So what are the challenges? Why are we not able to do? The challenge is only one. The challenge is there is no dearth of opportunity. There is dearth of interest. That is the challenge. There is dearth of interest. There is no dearth of so much of opportunity is there to recite, hear, speak, chant. Where is the problem? But the problem is in one's own interest. So now what to do? How to overcome this, that we have to have interest? How to go to this level of insatiation while we chant, while we read, while we hear, while we practice pure devotional service, various aspects. In the beginning, we begin with, tell someone, you want to chant Hare Krishna, just chant 10 minutes. Eventually it becomes 2 rounds, 4 rounds, half an hour of chanting. But then it becomes 16 rounds, 2 hours. And then you start practicing 16 rounds, but then you wonder, it's not only just 16 rounds, you have to hear regularly, you have to attend Mangala Aartis, then it takes 4 hours of your day. And then not only that, then the weekly meetings, then the services, then the devotees, then the interactions. My Lord, it's increasing more and more. And what is decreasing is gratification of senses. To the degree this service to Krishna increases, to that degree we don't engage in our gratification of filthy senses, means senses which are dead. So this is the key. So one has to be dridhavrataha. One has to carry on, with determination. This is the price that one has to pay. Actually, this is not the price that one has to pay. The price that one has to pay to carry on satatam kirtantamam is, give up one's false ego. The core. Bhakti works not anywhere else. That's why bhakti is easiest, fastest, highest, fastest. Why? Because it hits to the core. What is the core? The false ego. Other processes they work around, but bhakti is so, we don't have to go upside down, hang this and that. Take prasad, chant Hare Krishna, dance, everything is fine, but it hits the very core of our identity. I am soul. I am not this body. Sampla. This is the whole finish. Connection is over. And now, what else I can do? I'm supposed to love and serve Krishna. Krishna with Das. So, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'm concluding. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in Shiva's Angan. He stopped the dance and told, why early we are dancing in the daytime and we are wasting the nights? We should engage ourselves even at the night. And all the devotees shouted, Hari Bol! 24 hours Kirtan. So, and the Lord explained how to do this. The Lord explained how to do this. The Lord told, Trinad api shunechena, taroreva sahishuna, amanena manadena kirtaniya sadahari. This is the way one can chant satatam. There is no satiation. So, how to practice this Trinad api shunechena? We have heard this a lot. But actually, in simple ways, my understanding is, Trinad api shunechena means, being lower, humbler than a blade of grass. So when we talk to someone, we should approach to that person with that mood that I am very lowly, very insignificant. Now when someone talks to us, we can expect someone to not talk the way he should. Then we should practice thorough appreciation. We should understand that when he is talking to us, then his realizations might not be the same that I am aspiring for. So thus, I should not expect him to behave the way I am supposed to serve. So I should practice thorough appreciation. And then amanina. While dealing with anyone, we consider ourselves lower than the lowest and expect no respect. And one thing, even if these 3 things are tough to follow today, right now, one thing is by default we can follow, that is manadena. And keep giving respects to everyone. This is very much practically feasible. This is very much logically, practically, without any previous realizations possible. Artificially also we can practice actually. Manadena. So this we can do. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also instructed Raghunath Das Goswami that if you want to take care of not engaging senses in the sense gratification, then incessantly chant Hare Krishna. Incessantly. Constant chanting, repeated chanting, all the times chanting. So this is not easy. And Sanatan Goswami explains how to do this. Again, he tells utter humility. Utter humility is the core to chant. So now why are we not, and this act, okay, I'll just end with 2 points. So mind we actually need purity for practicing all this. So why we are not having purity? Because mind has to be free from two things. One is offenses and another is sins. So because when we commit offenses, Radha and Krishna are there, but they go far away. They become invisible. And if we commit sins, then we become kapati. Then nishkapata bhavana is not there. We become cunning. So when we are niraprad and when we are nishkapata, then our heart becomes soft. It becomes simple, innocent, and whatever comes, we can immediately accept. Whatever the Shastras say. Now, currently what is happening? When Shastra is saying something, then we say, okay, I can consider about this. It's okay, it's fine. But then, actually, when we become pure, whatever the Guru says, whatever the Shastra says, whatever our superior says, we immediately accept. This is the way we can actually practice Satatam Kirtayantamam. And I'll end with this beautiful poetry written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Kabe have bolo se din amar, अपराधे घूची शुद्ध नामे रुचि कृपा bale have hridaya sanchara. And then he says in the 7th verse, Kini boluti bo hari nam rasa name rase mati hoi bo vivasa rase rasi ka charan parasa koriya mo jiva rase anibar. Kabhi have bolo sidhe namar. So it is that day is far, at least for me. So, but we can always aspire. One fine day, let that day come in which I will incessantly chant the holy name, incessantly read the Shastras, incessantly worship the devotees and the deities, and follow the instructions of our spiritual master. When can I immerse myself in the nectar of the holy name after gasping the feet of a saint who is constantly relishing the rasa of devotion? This is the prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.